So welcome to Real Talk Vancouver. My name is Gina Chong.
I'm Sherry Chen.
And today we had a photo shoot earlier.
Yes. In one of my favorite locations in Burnaby.
It's one of my favorite locations too, and I have actually been here, like photographed here so many times, so yeah. I love this place. And it's actually the best spot for fall photos.
Totally.
Yes.
And if you want to bring your dog, this is Deer Lake. There's a nice trail here, there's the Chabot Center, there's the art gallery, there is the museum.
Boating.
Oh my goodness,
yes.
The boating is very fun. There's so much to do. There's a little small street that we're right here close by, so the cars are going by. The leaves are, we're not faking this, the leaves are coming down as if somebody's throwing it down on purpose, but it's not. It's just really nice here. Anyway, so we are using this opportunity to get to know each other. No, not for our viewers to get to know us a little bit more.
So the reason why we're here today is to let you get to know a little bit about us, because I don't think we've ever shared our stories with you guys. So this is a good opportunity to learn more about us and how we got into real estate and what we, like to do before. Yeah. Or for fun.
Why real estate? And is this like a forever career? Is this,
Yes. Okay, let's start with you, Sherry.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Sherry. What would you like to ask?
So, when did you get into real estate?
I started in real estate in 2007, and when I first started, I started with Boza Properties. This is one of the bigger developers in Vancouver, and I started with project sales. So I did a lot of pre-sale developments and working at sales centers, selling projects that are not finished yet. In fact, sometimes the construction is not even begin. So I'm basically there selling a future vision of what people will look forward to living in.
And so I think you mentioned before that your family was in real estate as well.
Yes, my dad. My dad was in real estate for about 17 years before he retired. So when I was growing up, real estate has always been kind of in the background noise, or on the weekends is what we need to do. Like my mom is also a real estate investor, so what she liked to do was buy properties, rent them out, and then a few years later sell them for a small profit, things like that. So that's kind of like the things that I've used to do a lot over the weekends.
So was that only when they moved to Vancouver that they started the real estate? So back in Taiwan, they weren't doing that?
No, no. My dad was an accountant back in Taiwan, and my mom ran a store in the airport. So nothing to do with real estate, but when they moved here, they realized that real estate here is quite interesting. And this is back in 1991. Real estate was different. Prices were different.
Oh, very different.
Super, super different. And then every few years, people would be like, oh my gosh, the market is going to burst and blah, blah, blah.
For sure.
Here we are. I moved here when I was 8. I am now 38, 30 years later. The market hasn't burst yet. In fact, I think it's still continuing.
It's still going. Yeah.
Gina?
Yes.
When did you start in real estate?
Okay, so I started in 2004. I actually studied urban planning at SFU, and a friend of mine, Howard Locke, he contacted me out of the blue and said, hey, Boza Properties is hiring and they're looking for someone to work in the presentation center. So I applied and I worked for Boza Properties. And so that's kind of how we met. So I started 2004, we met in 2007, and then I left 2008. And so I left because I actually ended up starting my own business, doing photography and videography, and have continued doing that until about 2018, where I decided I'm gonna go back into real estate, another one of my longtime passions. So yeah, that's how I kind of got back into real estate, and I got my license, and I'm absolutely loving it. I feel like I'm back in my place again in a way, And I love that so many people that I met back in the day are all still in real estate to this day. They've never left. So yeah, I love that.
And a lot has changed with you between 2008 and 2018.
Yes.
Because you, like when we first met, were you married when we met?
I was dating at that time, and then I got married, and then I ended up having 2 kids who are now 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And I guess funny story is I'm probably one of the only ones that born and raised, and I have lived in the same house my entire life. I've actually never moved out.
You should explain that a little bit.
So I ended up, I love the house I grew up in, and I've always dreamed about living there and raising a family there. So I bought the house, begging my parents to buy it off of them. And I bought it to 2016, we renovated it, and now my family and I live there. So yes, I'm one of the rare ones that have
very
lived.
true.
Yeah.
You're very, very rare. I think most people move quite many times throughout their lives.
Right.
Either because, schools or jobs or families, and increasing and decreasing in numbers of their family members, things like that. So you're definitely one of the rare ones. Okay. Gina,
yes.
What is your favorite part about being in real estate?
Oh, there's so much. I feel like real estate really encompasses
choose one.
Like so many things though. I'm a big people person, and when I did photography, I photographed people. That was my thing. And so when I got into real estate, I love the interactions with everyone, the communications, the getting on the phone.
Because you're like an extrovert.
I'm an extrovert, and I actually get a lot of energy when I'm around people. Yeah. Whereas like I know like my husband, he's an introvert, so he feels more drained when he's around a lot of people, right? Yeah. So yeah, we're totally opposite in that way, but I love being around people. I just fuel off of their energy, and that's why I love real estate, because it is a people-pleasing job. Yeah. You're surrounded by people all the time.
Yeah, so true.
And what about yourself? What do you love about real estate?
Again, if only I get to choose one, because you already said people. I'm also an extrovert, but because Gina already said people, so I feel like I can't say the same thing. But I think what I love about real estate really truly is the real estate itself. Is quite interesting for me. The fact that the whole development process, because I've been in pre-sale for so long, and that's just kind of my love, is to watch a city grow and expand, and the infrastructure, the planning of the roads, the retail space needed for the population growth. Like, that's so interesting for me. And over the years, I've now sold over 30 projects, 30 buildings. Wow. With 10 different developers. And looking back, I can look at Metrotown or White Rock or downtown, and I could literally walk by, drive by, and point at some of the buildings and say, hey, I sold that.
Exactly. So, I still do that too when I go past Miramar and White Rock, or there's we're at Westwood Village in Coquitlam, and the one in Burnaby where we were at. Highgate Village.
Highgate Village, and it's spray those 2 towers. That's where I started, exactly. And it just makes you feel so good. It does. Knowing that, hey, you were part of that growth and that development and that building of that entire master plan community, or sometimes a single building. So that's what I love about real estate.
So are you yourself a part of buying and selling real estate?
For sure. Yeah. I think that was my goal since I was very, very young, still in grade school. My goal was always to become a property owner, and then use that to increase my equity and build my wealth and move on from there. I do feel like right now, just in Vancouver is not quite enough for me. I want to expand a little bit further internationally. So hopefully we can take this channel international.
Yes, we both love traveling. So.
We love traveling, we love looking at real estate, and we love talking to people. So it would be so great if we can take this internationally. And why I say this is because I accidentally tried it last year. So last year, when COVID happened in 2020.
So it was like right before COVID though, right?
Right before COVID, I planned a trip to Malaysia, to Taiwan, to the Philippines. I ended up only going to Malaysia and Taiwan, and the Philippines trip was canceled because COVID shut down everything. All of my flights, hotels, everything was canceled. But because of that, I was stuck in Taiwan for 3 months, and during those 3 months, I wasn't able to work really because everything was shut down and I was on the other side of the world. So I just decided, hey, why don't I go and see some pre-sale developments in Taiwan? I was just curious. I'm very curious as to how the salespeople sold over there, what the real estate looked like, what kind of fancy finishings they have, views, such. Oh my gosh.
It's so neat to see all of those different aspects all over the world, right? Because when I was in Korea, this was right before COVID hit as well. You know, my eyes went straight towards like the finishings that they had and all the new technology that they had in these buildings. And I'm like, okay, that's gonna come to Vancouver eventually. Vancouver's a little bit on the slow side. But I love seeing all the different features and finishings and stuff in different countries. So I think that's really cool.
You know what the most interesting thing for me, for that portion anyway, was to convert all of that from Taiwanese NT to Canadian dollars. I posted this on my Instagram, and I just wrote down really simply, you know, what the home was what it cost in Taiwanese, and then how much that transferred into in Canadian dollars. And so many of my friends, either realtors or outside of the industry, they all ask me, what? How is that possible? Like, this is Vancouver's all I understand, and to see the world and see the real estate throughout the world so different.
Right. And I think that's why we came up with Real Talk Vancouver. Just to show not only people in Vancouver real estate, but really to show people from other countries, you know, from Asia or from Europe, how real estate is done here, and also checking out these beautiful parks and like restaurants and food, right? We both are foodies, so we do need to do more food shoots. But I think this should wrap up our little talk. If you're interested in finding out more about Vancouver and Vancouver's real estate, why people like to live here, why people spend so much money, time moving their entire family here to Vancouver, and why Vancouver is one of the top places to live in the world, follow us on our channel. Okay, so yes, like and subscribe our channel, Real Talk Vancouver, and we'll see you guys all next time.
Bye!
Bye!